Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Barbara, could you please call the roll?
We have Commissioner Sales, Holloman, Moss, and Parfrey present.
Thank you. This proceeding will be broadcast, as you know, on Channel 35. Let's start with the report of our General Manager, Mr. Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick item, and then we'll be able to move on to the rest of the agenda. We will be hearing today from Dr. Pickle, the ratepayer advocate, and it's regarding his, at least I believe his preliminary thoughts with respect to our power rate proposal. So given that, I wanted to kind of give the board an update with where we are in the timing of the overall review and action on the proposal. This has slipped from about a month the last time that we spoke about this. I know we haven't had a chance to discuss this because it's been a little bit fluid. But we want to make certain that the Board of Water and Power Commissioners has an opportunity to get the benefit of Dr. Pickle's review, and the same for the City Council as well. So we've been moving the schedule back to accommodate that period of time. So our plan is to have the board formally review and consider the rates on or before September 18th. We're trying to actually see if it's possible to work it through the morning of the 18th. See if there's a quorum that works for the board on that. With that as our Tuesday is our normal board date, and we're not having a normal board meeting prior to that in September. The Energy and Environment Committee of the Council is scheduled presently to hear this on the 19th of September, and then it would go for first reading before the full council on Tuesday the 25th. So that's the timeline at present for this, and today we're just going to hear Dr. Pickle's review of the, I believe, of the power rates, and he'll probably, I hope, give us a little bit of indication of how things are looking for his review on the water, which is being taken subsequently. But intent is to have both our board, E&E committee, and council review both water and power at the same time and take an action on the same date with regard to that. So I don't know if you have any questions about that. If that's,
questions?
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else in your report?
That's into my report.
Comments or requests from commissioners relating to DFB operations? Commissioner Moss?
I'd like to request a presentation to the board, and I don't know, I'll leave it up to the General Counsel whether it's in closed or private session, but on the San Fernando Valley cleanup progress.
How long do you think that'll take to give the report? Can we do it next meeting?
We can do it
next meeting. Next meeting?
Next meeting, sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? No. We've got public comment. On public comment, we have four speaker cards.
Yes. I did need to ask, I got a card without an item listed. It was from a Jillian Wright. Do you know what number you wanted to speak on?
Yes, that was item 20.
Item 20. Okay, thank you. All right, then the first card for item number 4 is Linda Romney.
Good afternoon. I did attend the City Council meeting this morning at 10 o'clock where the first item, of course, was the alleged presentation by the DWP concerning the rate increase. And I did have an opportunity to speak on the general 2-minute. And on that 2-minute portion addressing the actual, in reality, 30%, the largest rate increase in the Department of Water and Power's history on your water. I also discussed the fact that in the last 25 years there has been no increase for the allotment for your low income, for your senior citizens, and for your disabled. That's in 35 years. And what do we get? We get a $10 for low income, period, for a 2-month period, $10 for water. And if you're lucky enough to get the Lifeline, it's increased to $20. But I have another issue, and that is that I have not received my Lifeline, even though I filled out my recertification, and I was approved by the Sanitation Department, and the Sanitation Department did issue my Lifeline credit. However, the Department of Water and Power informed me in writing that they do not issue Lifeline credit retroactively. Now, this is despite the fact that I've written all these letters and all these phone calls memorializing the conversation to DWP. They refuse to give credit for the Lifeline discount. I don't know what it takes, gentlemen. It must be a grand jury with this monopoly that you will not give your citizens this lifeline credit. Something needs to be done here. And as far as your commissioner, your DWB commissioner, Miss Elizabeth Marino, in all the time that she has presided, not one time has she ever ruled in favor of a ratepayer. Not one time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Vicki Mitchell.
I'm just a customer of DWP, and looking at these numbers, mine is nothing. But my concern is another rate increase. I'm middle class. I can't keep paying more to you guys. Services are less and less. I have called the offices many, many times. My service is calculated, I don't know if you guys even know this, you probably do, based on a vacant house while it's under construction. It was based on the previous owner from a year ago, but nobody even lived in the house. So you guys based my bill on the previous year. Nobody lived there. Oh, you based my bill on the fact that my neighbors used this much consumption. Does that make sense? But so 2 years later, you're going to then bill me based on my consumption, even though I lived in an empty house. How can you really bill your customers and expect us to pay more and more when you don't know how to adequately define how much we use? You can come back and bill us up to 5 years after the original bill. How can you do that to your customers? We have nowhere to go to say this is wrong. You go into the offices, you call, you get the same thing. It's just, I don't know where to turn, but we can't pay you guys more without the appropriate, this is how much you're using. Justify what you're billing us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Blanca Monge. Monge? Sorry if I mispronounced that.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I want to speak about my own issues, my own problems with the water and power. I had, for 3 years, they've been overcharging my property, 4231, 4233, and 33 and a half South Wall Street. And I don't have a lawn, I don't have garden, they don't have washing machines. 3 people living in each apartment, they're not there every day, I mean all day, they work. And I don't know where the water goes, and they overcharge me so much, up to $600 every cycle. They came up with a story that the meter was broken, and that's why the meter was reading improperly. Okay, if that happened, and then they sent me a bill for $1,700, and I couldn't pay that $1,700 at once, so they gave me a plan of paying. Now then, after that, because they told me to do payments on it, and they charged me late fees when I was not late. I wasn't late. I always pay on time, and this past due bill is because of the water meter broke, and I don't know where to go. I called many times. I even gave you ideas how to conserve water and maybe fire some of the people that don't do anything here, in order to keep the money and use it wherever you're going to use it. And I think the increase that you're trying to do is outrageous. We can't, I'm a low income, not even middle class. So I think this is going to kill us. You're killing us already. So I think it's very outrageous, unheard of. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is...
Mr. President, may
Oh, sorry.
I ask Mr. Nichols to investigate the last 2 public statements to see if customer service could interact with those customers?
I think what I'd rather have them do, I actually think we should have a report on our low-income programs, and then secondarily on our retroactive billing. just so we understand both the policy and the practice on both of those issues.
We'll do that.
Is that to address?
I'm fine with the broader policy review, but I would also like to see if the customer service could interact with those two individuals.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Saeed Isaac.
Honorable board members, thanks for granting me the opportunity to draw your attention to the fact that there is a description of more than $200 million in the statements presented for the power tariff adjustments. On August 13th, U.S. Department of Energy issued a report saying that there was a 24 to 39% decline in wholesale power prices. As per your budget allocation of 29% of $3.172 billion, this price difference comes to about $220 million. Is this accommodated in your proposal or not? How are you going to be handling it? Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the speakers for item 4.
Thank you. I'm going to defer approval of the minutes. On the consent agenda, we're going to pull item 9. Is there a motion to approve items 6, 7, 8, 10 through 15?
I'd also like to pull item 15, please.
Exclude item 15. Is there a motion to approve?
There is.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Motion passes.
Can I have a vote to defer the minutes? Item 5, please.
Yes. Is there a motion to defer the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Any objection? Hearing none. The motion is approved. We're going to pull now. I think we're going to jump ahead to and hear from our ratepayer advocate. Dr. Pickle, are you here? Because I know people are interested in that issue. Please come forward. Welcome. Welcome.
Okay, I do have one speaker card for this one, whenever you want to take it.
Report first.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Fred Pickle, the Executive Director of the Office of Public Accountability and Ratepayer Advocate for the City of LA. And this is my report on the review of LADWP's power rate proposal. As I walk through this presentation, I'd like to first talk about the path to greater transparency. Next, the specifics of the power rate proposal. And then the ongoing stresses on DWP as an organization, given the mandates it faces, its infrastructure needs, and the issues that creates for rates, debt, and costs. And finally, my conclusions.
Is there a way to lower the lights so we can see? Or is that going to cause problems?
Mr. Pickle, I know we want to save costs, but is there a way that we could get a hard copy of this presentation as well?
We can distribute that at the end of the meeting.
All right, thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Thank you.
The concept of the LADWP ratepayer advocate has been discussed for over a decade. In March 2011, the City of LA, via Charter Amendment I, created this position. And the shortest statement of the mission for this office was to provide public, independent analysis of the departmental actions as they relate to water and power rates. The organization is separate from the LA Department of Water and Power and is an independent office within the city. A search was created about a year ago to appoint a head of this office, and I was selected and came on board a little over 6 months ago. The ratepayer advocate created by this charter amendment is different than any other ratepayer advocate position that I've found. First, I'd like to say what it's not. It is not a role in a trial-like setting. The city process is not set up as formal hearings in a litigated process. It's not an audit. You have a Big Four auditor doing your books annually. They're posted on the website. That's been publicly available for a long time. It's not an inspector general. It primarily looks forward, not back. And the ratepayer advocate is not management, and it's not the decision maker. However, I anticipate looking in 3 overall areas in 7 different components. What we're talking about now is rate review, which is issues of revenue requirements, how much to collect each year, or rate structure, how much individual classes might pay for different components of their bill. The second broad area is planning, and that would include commenting on the annual budget, commenting on project and program need, and then longer-term plans like integrated resource plans, long-term water plans, or a combined DWP strategic plan. Third area is other duties as assigned, including complaint review and other special issues. The old rate review process was DWP management would submit a proposal to this board. The board would act, and it would go for yes or no review before the City Council Energy and Environment Committee, the council, and finally the mayor. The new process inserts my comments in this process so that I comment to you before management submits its proposal to you. This is an overview of my comments. The DWP has already provided extensive background information to me and on their proposed water and power budgets, financial plans, rate proposals, anything I've asked for. At this time, I don't recall anyone saying no to anything at the end of this process. The background information was provided starting in March and April. DWP held community meetings in April through June, and I attended almost all of them. I think I missed 2 or 3, and I think only 2 where I wasn't able to get a representative there. And I learned a lot listening to the comments. The detailed power rate proposal was released to me on May 1st with a draft power ordinance about June 1st. A detailed water rate proposal was released on June 6th, and a draft water ordinance was released to me on June 21st. I am releasing this review today. As part of that review, it will be this PowerPoint summary today and a detailed PA consulting report. There are some last-minute changes being made in that report. We expect it will be probably released on the city website tomorrow. And we're not helped by the fact that the city website is down at the moment. The water rate review is expected to be released late next week. We will hold some public regional workshops starting the week of September 3rd. We have a number of business customer sessions planned. And as Ron mentioned, you're working to set a date for your review of this proposal in mid-September. And it sounds like I wasn't quite up to date on the dates when I drafted this. The City Council Energy and Environment Committee is expected to have its hearings on September 19th, and the first City Council vote is possible the week of September 24th. If that schedule is adhered to, these rates would likely be effective in early November. Well, as I started off, this whole process was driven by demands for greater rate transparency. I think we have a major success in that process for better government and for transparency. This effort built on work by the city administrative officer, the chief legislative analyst, and the chief legislative analyst, supported by PA Consulting since 2010. The release of this review is the first major formal step in achieving goals of greater transparency. The collaboration between the CLA and the CAO and my office are supported by PA Consulting at this stage, and we've received input and comments on components of this from council members, from the mayor, from neighborhood council groups, and the public. Complete cooperation. The cooperation has been complete with LADWP management with unprecedented levels of openness. We have a success. We have a much better understanding of the drivers of DWP rates and needs. We have a detailed evaluation of the financial plans with links to revenue requirements and the rates. And we have evaluation of the costs and benchmarking of key costs. Now for the proposal. The power rate proposals in this round have been evolving since mid-2011. The council did not grant an increase last year because they wanted to wait until the appointment of a ratepayer advocate and a review. This is the kickoff of that review, or the review results. The current proposal has an increase of 4.8 to 4.9% in this fiscal year over the 12-month period, and roughly 6% in 2013-14. Because of the council delay, the council can claim victory on my behalf by an avoided roughly 6% increase last year, but that delay may have created other problems in terms of infrastructure needs. And the infrastructure needs are ongoing. The DWP provided a preliminary estimate of budgets, costs, and revenues beyond the 2-year proposed. They're uncomfortable calling them anything other than preliminary, but still they're indicative of the pressures on rates. And I will come back to that continuing pressure driven by mandates. The biggest driver is capital expenditure in this process. Total assets for the power operations are about $12 billion right now, and DWP expects to do capital expenditures of a little over $3 billion in the next 2 fiscal years. And that compares to that asset base of $12 billion and annual revenues of $3.2 billion over that same period. The expenditure increases are driven by state and federal mandates. A chart by DWP in their proposal explains this from their perspective. Sorry, this isn't available online, and I'm colorblind, so I may get this wrong. But the mandates are shown in this chart. The 2.9-cent increase is the energy efficiency component, which we can argue about whether it's a mandate or not, but from the customer's perspective, it's the most commonly asked for component in any meeting I attended. How can you help me with conservation? So while it's not a state or federal mandate, it's a guideline. It's something we know the customers want. The other component is the power reliability program. The mnemonic I remember it by, since power reliability program was never catchy to me, is the pole replacement program. But it covers more than poles. And it's important for reliability in individual areas. So 70%, or if you want to argue at least 50%, of the increases are associated with these mandates. This next page lists the primary drivers of these mandates in great detail. I won't walk you through this. The PA report provides even more detail on this. So for making the choices, can we ignore the mandates? Not really, not without major consequences. There might be some major cost savings in the short term, but in some cases the penalties are unclear. It's also unclear whether the penalties could go beyond mere civil penalties. What is discretionary? There's the power reliability program, and I know from all customers' perspectives, reliability is paramount. The most expensive power is the power you don't have. Outages are very expensive for the individual customers. From a conservation perspective, I've noted it's the one item customers request the most, and in many cases it's the cheapest alternative for addressing new need. The bottom line is, having reviewed the finances and the business cases supporting these components, I recommend approval of the power rate proposal as it stands. And this proposal has evolved, reflecting discussions with DWP. It's not the original proposal. You could say we've been having 6 months of settlement discussions. But I support approval of this rate increase for this 2-year period. But that isn't all. This is a 2-year rate increase, and DWP has a lot to do in the next 2 years. Its capital spending program over these 2 years would keep it very busy, but it has to continue to transform the organization even more. The preliminary financial plans over the next 5 years show that capital spending will be $7.4 billion over these next 5 years. That means the asset base will grow from roughly $12 billion now to almost $17 billion by mid-2017. And beyond that period, the Integrated Resource Plan released in January shows a continuation of these increasing rate needs beyond 2017 through the decade of 2020. This impacts DWP negatively several ways. Energy sales are already expected to decline in this period. And this is a turning point, not just for DWP, but for many other entities in this industry. The power industry has been a growth industry for a century, and this will have to change the way we manage things. Two, DWP's relative cost position is very good now. Its rates are very good relative to its peers, but it's been growing faster in both rates and O&M costs than its peers. Benchmarking shows wage rates are substantially in excess of its peers, but nothing can be changed in this 2-year period, so we should move ahead. Even if DWP was able to negotiate a one-time 10% labor cost reduction, the rate impact would only be a cumulative 1% to 2% over several years. That's because DWP's revenues relative to its labor costs are much larger, not like typical city departments. It's roughly 25% labor costs relative to annual revenues. And a third or more of these labor costs are capitalized, so the impact occurs in any change over a longer period. Finally, financing these changes causes LADWP debt levels to climb into riskier territory. By the end of this 5-year period, debt levels are over 65%. So that necessitates other ways of managing risks as we move forward. This chart, which I'll need to fix because we caught an error in it, shows approximately the relative components of the different mandates in a 5-year rate increase in revenue requirements. And as you'll note, the power replacement program, repowering, conservation, and RPS are the large components of this change. Conclusions. LADWP's 2-year power rate proposal should be approved. We can't wait. DWP must continue its transformation process. The cost reduction effort begun in mid-2011 has exceeded its targets, and we compliment management on the efforts so far. But this effort must continue and broaden to be fully transformational, with the organization being stressed on the customer side by rate increases averaging 77% over the long term, and costs increasing. We have to work out different ways of doing things. In the areas of business management and performance improvement, improved investment viability reviews and ongoing investment management needs to be improved. I recommend performance measurement efforts at the business unit, at the functional and individual levels, and adding into that performance mix enterprise risk management, especially given fuel risks and the increasing debt level. And ongoing benchmarking of key costs, including repowering costs as we're working on them, PRP, and the cost components like the total cost of labor compensation. In terms of cost management, we need to work on collaborative efforts between the city, LADWP, and labor on contracting out and bringing salary and benefits closer to market rates. That will be challenging, but the organization as a whole would be much riskier without successful collaboration on that. And those risks can affect all. Process improvements need to be implemented across the organization, and DWP should review its fuel hedging strategies and processes. Fuel hedging doesn't decrease costs, but it can remove volatility at a time when risks can have greater impact. And finally, the city and DWP and my office need to collaborate on addressing mandates from a ratepayer perspective. Cost-benefit discussions are appropriate even for established mandates. The policymakers need to understand what this means. And this doesn't always mean shift back to natural gas or back to coal. In my experience, alternative energy sources in New England in the early 80s contributed to the cancellation of a second Seabrook nuclear plant. So don't prejudge how cost-benefit analyses might come out, but we need to think hard on the ratepayer impact and the cost of these mandates.
Thank you. Let's take our speaker card first, and then we'll have questions from commissioners.
Okay, the speaker is Martin Schlesinger.
Commissioners, hello. Martin Schlager. I'm with Council Member Jose Huizar. I just wanted to obviously be here to hear Mr. Pickle's presentation, but also to thank you for what I've heard, this increased transparency. I want to express the gratitude of the council member for that, because it's critical for the council's ability to weigh and hear and vote on this rate proposal that this department and the Office of the Ratepayer Advocate have been working together closely. We also appreciate the additional time that we have been requesting to ensure that Mr. Pickle's been able to give a full review here, and we look forward to getting into the details of it. The timeline from our perspective that was spelled out by Mr. Nichols is the timeline we're working with. And we look forward to both in September, but also going forward, an ongoing discussion and full consideration of the recommendations that are in Mr. Pickle's report, which we are eagerly awaiting to dive into. So thank you very much, and we'll be working together quite closely on this in the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions, comments? Commissioner Moss?
Yeah, the detailed report that's going to be put out tomorrow, will that go into more detail on some of your conclusions and describe some of the initiatives that you're proposing there?
Yes.
Okay.
That will be, that's the PA report. Will go into more detailed descriptions. Some of my higher level comments will be in a written report combining the water and power
Oh, and when do you expect to issue that report?
when the water report is out.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Parfrey?
First of all, I want to thank you for your work and for looking forward to reading the full report, the PA report. Just wanted to probe a little bit on the ECAF. In what way has that been integrated into the rate increase that you've analyzed?
It is integrated. It is integrated in a complicated way. I will suggest you refer to the report.
And I appreciated your analysis related to energy efficiency and noting its popularity with members of the public. I think that was helpful. And also, I thought it was helpful that you acknowledged the importance of our infrastructure upgrades and the reliability that's required. And the fact that you pulled that out and drew special attention to it, I thought was notable. Thank you.
Commissioner Holloman?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Moll?
Yeah, another question. In your report, do you talk about the ramifications on DWP if the rate increase is not approved?
That is covered a couple different ways.
Can you summarize, maybe, because that wasn't really part of your program today, could you summarize a little bit of what your findings were there?
I'm not sure I'll recall all the details correctly offhand, but it has impacts. The things that get cut are energy conservation and PRP. And in some cases, the DWP didn't pick through exactly what might be cut. But typically in the past, it is the non-mandated components that get cut, which from a customer perspective, it's like we're all paying for the benefits of state and federal policy, but without getting the benefits of what we thought we have under the charter.
Commissioner Parfrey?
Last question. Related to the slate of public meetings that you're going to be participating in the coming weeks, I heard you reference business groups. Are there other bodies that you'll be speaking before in addition to business organizations?
I've been reactive on that. So it's the business groups that have approached me I have scheduled. Other groups, including the Sierra Club, have talked to me. I've asked them to hold off until we've set up the public hearings to see if that would be adequate for their purposes as well.
May I probe a little further? So which business groups specifically have asked for you to make a presentation where you're planning on appearing?
LA Business Council, LA Chamber of Commerce, Central City Association, Building Owners and Managers Association. I may be missing one. And the apartment owners group, although they care primarily about water.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things we said we came together as a board is it was critical that the department become much more transparent. And I want to thank you for your efforts in that regard. I think we really are much more transparent than we've been in the past. I also want to thank you for doing this work in relatively a short period of time. I know what a startup operation is like. I know it's not easy. So thank you for your hard work there. I do have one question on the issue of wages. I think you made the statement that DWP wages were higher than other city departments. In your report, do you look at our wages relative to other IOUs?
I do not look at rates relative to other city departments. I do. The PA report has an extensive analysis of DWP wages relative to individual classifications in a broad group of utilities and in specific comparable situation utilities.
And those are both public and utilities and IOUs?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the conclusion you draw from that drawn from that comparison?
They're high.
Anything else? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's I believe Commissioner Parfrey had a question or comments on item 9. Why don't we bring forth item 9? Is that you, Jim?
Yep.
Okay.
So I understand the purpose of performing the water supply assessment, and we've gone down this route before on a few other projects, and I was just hoping to see if the developers were given the full palette of options that they could engage in. So I noticed that when they were looking at drought-tolerant plants, we're talking about 25% of total landscaping. That leaves 75% of the landscaping could be otherwise not drought-tolerant. We're looking at shower heads, but it just says that there's only going to be one shower head per stall. I guess usually stalls only have one shower head. I mean, there are some spas that occasionally have more than one shower head, but that's very unusual. But but it's not a low-flow shower head. It doesn't stipulate that. There's nothing in there about waterless urinals, and there's nothing about, the possibility of using some gray water or to do some, cleanup of some sewage treatment to use that for landscaping. And, I know this is a relatively small one, but, our studios are a very important part of the civic culture in Los Angeles. We want to see them step up and do the best job conceivable. So I just would like to hear, how you engaged with Paramount and how they responded to the full palette of choices that they had before them.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Parfrey, for that question. Before I get started, President Sales, good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is David Pettyjohn. I'm the Director of Water Resources. This is Delon Kwan of my staff. He manages our development of these water supply assessments. And those are good questions. We do interact with the developers on a pretty continuous basis as we go through these water supply assessments that we develop for them. We did actually recommend several of the things that you requested of Paramount Pictures, but they declined these things. And since the ordinance doesn't mandate them, we can encourage them to put in additional water conservation measures above and beyond what's required by the city ordinances, and they do that. In fact, Paramount Studios, they didn't reject all of our suggestions. They put in additional saving conservation devices that increased their water conservation, essentially doubled the amount of water conservation that the ordinance required. So the stuff they put in that was in compliance with the ordinance saved about 20 acre-feet a year. The additional things that they agreed to put in that we asked them for saved an additional 19 acre-feet a year, so essentially doubling what the ordinance had requested them to do. But we did ask them to put in, to consider waterless urinals. They declined that. We asked them to consider gray water systems. They also declined that. So some of these things that you mentioned that we have, and there are several others that we encourage them to consider, but they declined.
It should be noted, though, that although they may have declined the waterless urinals, I believe the 1-pint urinals are code at this point, as are low-flow shower heads. So just keep in mind that our City of Los Angeles code requirements are a generation ahead of most cities around here. So some of that's covered in the code.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
Well, if it's amenable with the other board members, I would like to make a very short amendment to the approval of this water supply and ask Paramount to simply consider this as a floor rather than a ceiling of the water conservation measures that they would engage in, and for the department to once again convey the full palette of choices before them.
Very good, and we will do that. I think that the last time you requested us to do this, we actually went back to the developer, made an additional request, and they actually did do some additional things. So thank you. We will approach them again.
Is that amenable with our?
I support your amendment.
All right, thank you. All right. All right, so I have moved the item.
As amended. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Moss has questions on item 15, excuse me.
Good afternoon. Shannon Pasquale, HR, and I have Joanne Kumamoto from Kumamoto and Associates.
So tell me what effective things have occurred thus far with this executive leadership training in specifics.
Okay, specifically, we've been able to, at this point, train 86 of our managers. We've covered a number of topics within 3 sessions so far. Our two sessions have already completed. The third session right now is going to be set to complete on September 19th. And some of the areas that have been covered specifically in this leadership program, and I need to kind of back up a little bit. The program was specifically designed initially back in 2009 to have 2 components. One, an executive leadership component, and one, a management development program. Because of budget cuts that occurred a couple years back, we had to kind of revisit how we were going to approach this, and so we've put forth more of a hybrid type of a program as opposed to 2 separate programs. So the executive leadership side has kind of been put off to the back end a little bit. We've kind of incorporated some of those concepts into this program, and so, but it's not initially how we wanted it to be. Okay, so I just wanted to caveat by saying that. Some of the areas that have been covered in the module specifically are around stuff like situational leadership, decision-making, understanding the culture and the savvy of DWP, people management and performance, strategic budgeting, building successful coalition and partnerships, mentoring, and then actually putting strategy into practice as managers. So what we've kind of seen also as part of the training program, each class had about 30 students, and they were divided into 4 groups, and they were assigned specific projects at the beginning of the session to work on a project which they then present to executive management at what we call their graduation ceremony. So some of the areas that have been covered thus far have been like succession planning,
they've also covered some of the areas of, capturing sort of some of the loss. How do you say it?
Knowledge transfer.
Knowledge transfer. Yes.
Yeah, we've done knowledge transfer. We've done knowledge capture. So they're trying to focus on areas that are specific. We did one on, I think one group did a presentation on performance management. So they're trying to focus on areas specifically that are important to the department as a whole, and as managers, what they should be looking at in terms of what they should be putting into their daily work.
Okay. So you've very well explained what the program is about and all the different areas it covers. Tell me why this is essential.
It's essential because I think this department needs to make sure that we have managers that understand what their roles are going to be going forward. I think it also provides us with the opportunity for a lot of new managers who have recently been hired over the past couple of years to transition from being supervisors to managers, and it gives them the foundation as it relates to what it is that we expect as a department that they need to have in terms of the skills, knowledge, and abilities to perform their jobs. And I think the problem that we've had in the past with a lot of the management development programs that we've had with this particular department is that they have not been sustainable. Okay, this program in itself, I think, and the feedback we've gotten from executive management, including Mr. Nichols, Mr. Benjamin, and Mr. McDaniel as well, is that this program was specifically designed to be something that we can be able to look 20 years from now and say that this program is still working its way through, and that we're actually seeing some successes from our managers in terms of what they're able to do with their respective divisions and their respective organizations.
Commissioner, if I can add a little bit to that, if I could, and interrupt, but I think your question is a really good one. And it's a question that I had early on when I first came on and learned about this program, and I've been incredibly pleased at the results that I've seen. I've participated in some of their sessions and seen what they have done, and I've seen a level of engagement, excitement, and interest by who will be our future leaders of this organization as they get together and share a better understanding across the organization. I know all of us have always never heard the issue, gee, our organization is siloed. Every big organization suffers from this. This is breaking down that to a significant degree. And in addition to that, a better recognition of what are our overall goals and objectives in working with our customers, what are our goals and things that we can do more efficiently, more intelligently, how we can use our resources better, and how they can better support one another and have better relations between both management and labor as well. So just across the board, I've seen just an excellent understanding and engagement that I believe is going to derive significant benefits to the Department of Water and Power. And in addition, as you look at this, I've actually done some of these programs myself with other utilities in a past life, and in terms of just getting specific, the bang for the buck on this is to try to do as much as possible to have our people do the heavy lift on this work. So this isn't a matter of someone coming out there and just presenting to them. This is enabling them to go do these things in a case sort of situation that I think is very cost effective and is going to deliver some great results.
Thank you very much.
Just a logistical, just a logistical question or two. Are the sessions conducted on premise or off-site?
The first 2-day sessions have been at the Somewhere West facility, which is a 2-day session that we do. But then the other sessions are done specifically here in the JFB.
And how do you determine, from a priority perspective, which managers roll in and out, first and second?
What we've been doing is we've been relying on the system heads to nominate the managers specifically that they want to have go to the program. Our objective is to try to get all the managers in the department trained so that we don't have to, prioritize who goes. But at this particular point, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, which is why we need the extension on the time so that we can actually try to get all of the managers in the department trained.
Thank you.
I was just curious. I think the contract was awarded in 2009.
Yes.
And we spent about a third of the money. Why haven't we moved faster?
Again, part of the problem was a couple years back there was some budget cuts done to the contract, and so as a result of that, we had to kind of punt and come back with a strategy in terms of how we were going to actually roll out the program.
Do more with less.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. We have a speaker card on item 16, which is our next item.
Speaker is Linda Romney.
Item 16, a $10 million expenditure. And this is for engineers, outside engineers as consultants. And I'm finding this very, very difficult to comprehend because at the amount of money that is received by the DWP engineers and the expertise of those engineers, why is it that you have to expend $10 million to these firms at a time when you're placing the largest rate increase in recorded history in water on the ratepayers, and your ratepayers are consistently telling you that they cannot pay that amount of money? Yet I do not see any conservation made whatsoever as far as the expenditures. I sit here twice a month. I never have ever seen a reduction in the amount of money that is spent, ever. And $10 million is a great amount of money to be spent when you have engineers in-house that can take care of this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's presenting item 16?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Albert Castellum, Project and Engineering Section Manager, Water System. What we have here, this item here is a set of 5 contracts for supplemental and expert engineering services, each for a term of 3 years, but with a cumulative expenditure limit of $10 million. There is no guaranteed minimum expenditure.
So let's respond to her question. Why don't we do this inside?
Expert services in nature, things that we don't normally hire for. such as some of the things are compressed natural gas fueling facilities that we have to build now, and that's not bread and butter work. We're not talking about water system facilities that we normally can handle in-house. There's some safety aspects in there, and there's some new technologies that we are also performing and trying to design out here. And so there's a lot of mentoring and training involved and knowledge transferred, and those components are in the contracts.
Commissioner Holman?
What methodology did you use to come up with the $10 million aggregate number? How did you determine that that may be the amount of supplemental expertise you may need?
Based on track record of when we've had other expert services, and it's just the basically amount that we perceive might be needed over those 3 years. Can't spend too much. It's just we don't have enough time to spend too much on that. And it's generally there's no big ticket items here that we had in mind. We have a set of projects that we could work on here, and none of them seemed that needed any more money than that. And that's just kind of a split based on what we've done in the past.
So it's a
really
guesstimate based on past experience?
Based on past and based on also on estimates for projects that are coming, whether we do them in-house or we do them with outside services.
Have we contracted out for these services in the past?
Yes, we have.
And are these numbers consistent with the numbers we've
Very much
utilized
so.
in the past?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. Remind me, which projects specifically will these services be provided to?
Again, some fleet natural gas, compressed natural gas. We have arc flash analysis, which is basically a new National Fire Protection Association electrical code requirement that we need, and that's for safety of our own workers. There's also a new design tool. We're using it rather than just computer automated design in a 2D. We've gone to a 3D type modeling program there that's sophisticated to the point where we need some mentoring involved here. And again, that's where the training comes in. There's also some hydraulic modeling with a new system that we've procured where we need some mentoring. And in respect with some of our ongoing maintenance, there's floating covers that we need to redesign. Much of that we can do, but there's still the peer review and the expertise that's needed on those. Those aren't things that we design every year. So we have a set of those. And there's still a set of recycled water customer feasibility studies that we'd like to perform on this to move forward.
Do we have a similar issue on the power side? And
Yeah,
we use the same consultants in some cases for that?
Not quite matching, but we've used these consultants in different situations, but we do have a similar contract on the power side.
So we would end up having 2 contracts with the same company, one for power, one for water?
You could potentially you could, but they're like MWH, for example. It has the energy side and it has the water side. So although it's the same name, but you have 2 different divisions of the company.
But when we're negotiating for the fee for service, we're making sure they take into consideration that we're paying them on the water side as well, and vice versa.
I'm not sure if that goes into the evaluation because it's strictly based on, for example, on our side, it's transmission or specific tasks that we're looking for, and we're just focusing on evaluating the RFPs based on the...
No, I get it. It just seemed to me that if we're negotiating with a company that has 2 divisions, it's the company is going to... The revenue is going to be accretive to that company, not per division. So I just want to make sure that we're being as efficient as possible when we're negotiating both for power and water, that it could cross over.
You mean like paying overhead twice on contracts?
Like paying overhead twice on contracts and the like. And volume discounts, et cetera.
One of the provisions in the way this is set up is that this is kind of like almost a pre-qualification. When we actually go out to ask for proposals on a job, we'll ask for specific proposals from multiple firms and then do another specific evaluation on that. We can make sure that when we do that evaluation for the cost part of the proposal that we coordinate, if it is one of the consultants that's working for the power system, we'll make sure that we do that.
Great.
Other questions? Is there a motion to approve item 16?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any objections? Hearing none, item 16 passes. Item 17?
Item 17 is, I'll cover the background. We've given this board a background on FERC Order 1000, so just kind of the milestone of some of these Federal Energy Regulatory Commission orders is back in 1996 we had Order 888, and in 2007 we have Order 890. Just to summarize the concept of having these orders in place, and including the Order 1000 that has been implemented, which the department has the obligation to come back and declare their joining a regional planning, transmission regional planning organization, is October 11. By October 11, we have to declare, which regional planning we're joining in order for us to be compliant with Order 1000. So some of the principles that kind of carries through these orders is the transparency of planning for transmission, and also interconnections between utilities, and the cost allocations, and the non-discriminatory procedures for us to include in our operations and also in our tariffs. What we are proposing for approval with our commissioners is that for us to join the West Connect Regional Planning Group as part of our compliance with Order 1000. And this is a group that has about 17 entities right now. It's a voluntary membership in a regional planning effort that complies with the Order 1000 requirements, and also gives us a forum for us to make sure we are part of a regional planning, and if there's any projects that benefits the department's system, that we are putting our plans in that regional planning, and we're also getting the benefit of seeing other plans in the region, and then if there is a benefit, we will join and join with the cost allocation for that project.
Questions from commissioners? A motion to approve?
There is.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hearing no opposition, 17 passes.
Item 18 is a request for entering into Phase 2 Renewable Development Agreement between LADWP and SCAPA. And this is an agreement that will take us to 2020. Just to background on Phase 1 is we have used as a joint powers authorities between all the municipalities to put an RFP, an ongoing RFP out for renewable projects, and we've used the SCAPA as the forum for us to prioritize and negotiate agreements that we would have parts of the SCAPA family participate in it, Glendale, Pasadena, Burbank, Riverside, Anaheim, if it fits their needs, to get into those projects. What this agreement does is basically allows us to allocate $10 million between now and 2020 for any overhead type, the cost for RFP, the cost of due diligence, but the individual projects themselves are always going through the approval process with our board, with our council. That is not part of this. This is just an overhead agreement, an umbrella agreement for us to proceed with these overhead type expenditures.
Commissioner Parker?
Thank you, President Sales. Aaron, I have a couple of questions. I noticed and I understand this is just an agreement to move ahead jointly on a number of these projects, and I just want to be absolutely clear, strongly support this. This is the way that it needs to be done, where utilities are working together. But I am looking at one section, though. It's page 5 of the board letter, where we talk about the maybe-we-be subcontracting participation. And we've had issues related to some of the SCAPA agreements in the past. And the specific language in here does not actually, I don't find it reassuring. And it says that LADWP will attempt to have third-party developers agree to many of LADWP's business policies. And the attempt phrase is what troubles me. And I was wondering if you could talk about the progress that we've made with our SCAPA partners, so that there is more attention to the maybe-we-be goals that we have.
We have, just a clarification, the $10 million includes services, legal services or consulting services. Every contract that goes out is competitively bid, and it does have to mimic our procurement requirements. So that's for the overhead portion of it. But every other contract that's developed based on those RFPs that we negotiate with, also, because we're going to bring it to our board, and that has to be compliant with our procurement standards. So I think we've covered a lot of ground, as far as our requirements being imposed on the way we solicit services through SCAPA and the way we select contractors, and we want to make sure those are carried on.
And I also, there's no language in here associated with the coal transition. I know SCAPA is participating with us in those contracts. And I was wondering if you were contemplating a second agreement, or would it be advisable to amend this agreement to have a conversation about coal transition, as it is so closely aligned with the purchasing of the RPS power?
I think we have enough, as far as the replacement energy and the transition for other resources. For example, if we're going to do a transitional acquisition of a resource that's part of our renewable development, that could be put out under this agreement as part of our development of our RPS program, because they are all integrated as far as the procurement goes. So we would have specifically, once we get to that point where we might have a specific need, we might go back and amend this if it's not covered, but we have enough coverage here, to go through those.
Because this is a big transition for this utility, and I would assume for the other utilities that have been equally as reliant on coal power in the past, and it would be good to have their formal agreement that they're part of the process with us. And I don't know if it's this document or if it's another policy statement, but I want to make sure that we're all jumping at the same time.
Believe me, LADWP is taking the leadership in a lot of the committees that kind of defines, and then we are going to move forward, together on some of these projects.
I don't think Commissioner Parker's concern is DWP.
No.
It's the other members of SCAP, and how do we bring them along? I think that's the...
Thank you, President Self. That's exactly right.
And I think this forum gives us that opportunity to discuss options, to make sure that we're doing this decision making together, and this gives us that coverage.
The last thing is that I was looking over the agreement, and if you go to the appendices, I don't know if you want to look at that, but there's about, 16 pages of Exhibit A, and this is easily the most ridiculous thing ever printed, because it basically says we currently don't have any megawatts, being produced or shared by these utilities, but we keep repeating these pages again and again and again. So anyway, if there's a cost savings in the future, perhaps we could not print these appendices that actually have zero meaning.
You're confused. They're transitioning away from coal, not trees.
Anything else?
Well, I think our vice president and president have transitioned away from paper, unlike you and I, sir. We still get this paper. They've already.
I'm a hybrid. I do both.
They're in the iPad world.
Transition.
Yeah. Very.
Anything else on item 18?
Nothing. I would like to.
I think the points of Commissioner Parker are well taken. Let's make sure we bring these folks along. Okay.
Thanks very much. I move to approve.
So second. Any objections? Hearing none, item 18 passes. I'm going to move up to item, because we have a speaker card, I want to keep people waiting. Item 23.
We did 23?
Oh, 23, we're done? Okay.
I have speaker cards on 19, 20, and 21.
Okay, then let's go 19.
Okay, speaker card for 19 is Richard Luke.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Luke. I'm the Director of Design for the Facilities Division of the Los Angeles Unified School District. And I'm here to express the district's support for the MOU before you today. Although I've only recently taken over the responsibility for the district's sustainability program, I'm aware this MOU has been in development for some time. I'd like to thank the staff on both organizations for crafting an agreement that will help us achieve our mutual energy efficiency goals. Ultimately, it'll enable us to dedicate more of our limited resources to our primary mission, which is providing quality education for the students of Los Angeles. I'd also like to acknowledge that this agreement will enable us to retain journeyman electricians whose jobs otherwise would have been eliminated due to our current budget cutbacks. And so in closing, I hope the success of this program will serve as a model for future LADWP and LAUSD partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments from commissioners?
Other than to say that this is long overdue and really welcome this opportunity to work collegially with the district. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to echo that. I really think this is a wonderful partnership. Not only will we reduce energy use, will we save jobs. It's a great partnership. We're hoping to do more partnerships like this. I happen to have a meeting with the chairman of the board of LAUSD just today, and she was talking about the challenges they're facing. So anything we can do to help reduce your energy costs, we certainly want to do. And I want to thank not only you, Mr. Luke, but Mr. Glosser for this partnership. Other questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve item 19?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We've got cards for item 20, is that right?
Yes.
So is it now 4?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take those.
Okay, the first speaker for item 20 is Jillian Wright.
Oh, that's all right. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm Gillian Wright. I'm Director of Customer Programs and Assistance for Southern California Gas Company. SoCalGas has been offering energy efficiency programs in our service territory for over 30 years, including in the city of Los Angeles. And last year alone, our natural gas savings were the equivalent of eliminating 38,336 cars from the road. Or stated another way, it was enough to power 120,795 homes. We're very proud of that result, which exceeded the goals that were set for us by the Public Utilities Commission of California. But honestly, I think we can do better in Los Angeles. Every day, families and businesses in LA are looking for ways to save energy, to reduce their utility bills, and to help protect the environment. And SoCalGas shares the City of Los Angeles' strong commitments to helping the residents find green solutions. I'm excited to be here today to support an agreement that will allow SoCalGas and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to provide joint energy efficiency programs and services that will help reduce natural gas, water, and electricity usage by our common customers in the City of LA. LADWP's renewed commitment to energy efficiency presents a fantastic opportunity, and we'd like to applaud Ron Nichols for his vision and sincerely thank the entire LADWP team for all the hard work in getting this important agreement completed in record time. This is a public-private partnership that's going to create local green jobs and support our economy. It'll help to rapidly increase customer participation in both DWP and SoCalGas's energy efficiency and water conservation programs. It'll provide LA residents with comprehensive solutions for saving electricity, gas, and water all at the same time. It's going to increase the savings of electricity, natural gas, and water in the City of Los Angeles. And it'll help to avoid duplication of scarce resources in our two utilities and increase the direct benefits that can go to customers. Our joint program will highlight best practices in energy efficiency, green building, and sustainability, while offering generous financial incentives to help LA residents and businesses create environmentally friendly, energy-efficient communities where they work and live. Over the next several months, we'll be working together with LADWP staff to deliver a full range of joint rebates, incentives, and services which will benefit our common business and residential customers. We applaud LADWP's leadership in developing a more robust energy efficiency program, and we look forward to working with you to make LA a more energy efficient city. For these reasons, SoCalGas strongly supports your approval of this joint agreement between our two utilities to more easily offer natural gas, electricity, and water saving programs to our customers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next speaker is Kristen Eberhard.
Good afternoon. Kristen Eberhard with Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC. I'm excited to support this MOU. This is a really great development for helping customers get electricity, gas, and water savings all with one fell swoop. It not only lets customers get the savings, the energy efficiency savings that, as Dr. Pickle noted, customers are really asking for all at once, but it also helps both LADWP and SoCalGas reach more customers than they could on their own. And finally, it helps Los Angeles do our part towards reducing climate change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Michelle Gagarkian. Am I saying that wrong?
That's all right. Yes.
I hope you stated correctly.
It's Michelle Gagarkian with the Los Angeles Business Council. We're happy to be here today. The LA Business Council, as you know, represents about 350 key business and industry leaders in LA. From our work implementing LA's first private sector green building ordinance to our work with DWP solar feed-in tariff and planning 5 citywide energy efficiency workshops in concert with DWP and SoCalGas, we are very proud to be here today to support this historic agreement. As you guys know, commercial customers often bear the brunt of increased energy prices. So we think it is imperative to ensure that all regional utilities do everything in their power to help customers lower energy costs. Given our ongoing relationship to support the energy efficiency and solar efforts of both the DWP and SoCalGas, we fully support the master inter-utility agreement between both utilities. This new and historic agreement will help minimize both costs by allowing utilities to offer expanded benefits to joint service territory customers. Specifically, this joint program will increase savings by providing a single application service with enhanced value from water and power resources. It would also build capacity through mutual training and allowing both utilities to share best practices. And to that end, we urge a aye vote today.
Thank you.
That's the last speaker.
I'm going to recuse myself on this matter. Eric, can you handle it?
Yes, I can. Are there speaker cards on 21?
No, 20.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to recuse myself on 20.
We're at the point where you ask for motions.
Or are you asking for
You recuse yourself in the middle. Are there any comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, I think this is a great program, and I strongly, enthusiastically move to approve.
I second that and echo your comments.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, 20 passes.
I apologize for that clumsy pass-off. I'll do better in the future. Item 21. That'll cause a fumble.
Okay, did you want to hear the speakers first?
I do. Let's take the speakers out.
Okay, the first speaker is Martin Schlechter.
Hi, Martin Schlager again with Councilmember Jose Huizar. This is just another process I wanted to give the support of the council members, the council member to you, and our commitment to be working with you through the Energy Environment Committee that's chaired by Councilmember Huizar. This process is very welcome. We recognize the investment in local water has a good payoff. And we're looking forward to your undertaking this process such that we can, again, fully participate in the data that you find and in policy decisions that you'll be grappling with and in the coming months, policy and budget questions. So, again, very much appreciate that this is on your agenda and looking forward to working with you on this item.
Thank you. Is that it for public comment?
No, I have 2 more cards. The next speaker is Connor Everett.
Connor Everett, Southern California Watershed Alliance, and one of the groups from the Green LA's Water Committee, who you'll hear from afterwards. I just wanted to make the point, I think it's been made earlier, that while we're in favor of these guiding principles, we kind of thought they were a given, but we're glad that we're moving forward and putting them down and that they will be a commitment for a long time to come for local water. I also hope that you realize the potential as we move forward to really interact with customers. LA really built a reputation and the 90s of working with community-based organizations and doing conservation and providing jobs. I think that opportunity can be there again with these programs. I also think there's an opportunity, I keep on bringing these things up, so perhaps you haven't heard me before, but I feel like a broken record, which shows how old I am. Nevertheless, there is an opportunity for other devices you already have in place, such as landscape meters for people with outdoor water usage, where they can actually, one, we can find out how much water people are using, and they can make a savings, because there will be impacts on the short term of these costs, but in the long term, we think you need something to go back to the customers as well. With that, I'll turn it over to Stephanie Taylor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Stephanie Taylor, and I do have a handout that she wanted to give you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Stephanie Taylor, and I gave the Secretary written.
We have it.
The written. Okay, great. So I won't read it word for word. I'll just sort of summarize it to pull out the key points. I'm representing the Green LA Water Committee that includes Environment Now, Food and Water Watch, Heal the Bay, Hollywood Beautification Team, Generation Water, the River Project, the Southern California Watershed Alliance, and Tree People. So first, I do want to applaud Mr. Nichols and the DWP staff for acknowledging the importance of accelerating the city's local water goals. And in fact, the committee believes that under the right conditions, that the City of Los Angeles can, in fact, obtain 50% of its water supply by the year 2025. So the resolution before you addresses a lot of our concerns that we've almost precisely in the way that we've been discussing these issues with the department and with council and with other city staff. And we'd like to offer some additions and some amendments to the resolution today. And so I do want to, though, point out that it's very encouraging that the resolution makes a very strong case about why the challenges that do exist, that do threaten the water reliability. They mentioned the deteriorating infrastructure of the Bay Delta that will increase LADWP's cost to purchase water, and also the cleanup of the San Fernando Valley Basin. The Green LA Committee would also add that local water is cost effective, and as compared to MWD purchased water, and that local projects will in fact save the ratepayers money and will create local jobs. The following we'd like to offer additions to the resolution. So we would like to add that the DWP commits to working with the City Council, the Ratepayer Advocate, and the Mayor's Office to develop and ratify the Accelerated Local Water Program goals with timeframes and milestones, and that the DWP report regularly to the City Council and other stakeholders. That also the DWP will work with other city departments, for example, the Bureau of Sanitation, to collaborate more closely on projects and find other areas of interest, such as documenting the additional benefits of local water projects, such as TMDL and stormwater compliance and the associated cost savings. We'd also recommend an analysis of how the DWP can best mitigate the hardship of the rising rates for low-income and fixed-income senior households. And then lastly, as Connor already mentioned, that the LADWP to collaborate with community organizations to provide outreach and education for a diverse customer base, as well as to provide feedback on messaging, education materials, and outreach strategy. And lastly, there's a few amendments that we'd like to offer to the resolution.
Can you wrap up your remarks, please?
Yes. Yeah, thank you. The first bullet point, we would add that the study also consider the additional benefits provided by local water projects such as the TMDL and stormwater compliance. On the 8th bullet point, we would just sort of clarify that the report would include short-term benchmarks with timeframes and milestones to improve accountability. And then on the last paragraph, where it resolves that the DWP would work with the city to develop and adopt a wide range of continually improving minimum mandatory and higher voluntary sets of codes, that we would also add that the city work with the county and the state and other entities as needed. So thank you for the opportunity, and we're hopeful that continuing to work with the department, Mr. Nichols, and the staff that on accelerating the local water programs that will continue to be productive and beneficial to all. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Commissioner Parkey is going to recuse himself on this matter in a timely fashion. We've got a couple of options here. We've got an item before us. There have been amendments that have been proposed. We can adopt it and perhaps consider the amendments later, or we can defer the matter and then consider the amendments at a later date. Do you have a preference?
Well, I was going to propose an amendment to the resolution as well. So I would be in favor of maybe deferring it and considering the amendments all at one time.
Is there any time urgency that if we, okay.
I'll second his motion to defer.
Can I present my amendment for release for the record?
Sure.
Okay, I would like to add that that the staff be directed to present twice annually a report to the board by category of each of these principles, what is transacting, where we're at, and that at least one of those two reports be tied in with the budget to identify how the budget is supporting these principles.
So there's a motion to defer the item. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hearing no opposition, item's deferred. Item 22, are there any questions or comments on filed items?
I'd just like to ask for, we had a serious issue with purchasing cards several months ago, and I don't recall what the actual resolution was. I know there were some policy changes, but can the board, or me in particular, if no one else is interested, have a report as to what policy changes resulted from those issues, and then whether or not we've seen a decrease in anomalies?
Let's add that to our reports on operations for the next meeting.
Yes, we'll do that.
Is that okay, Commissioner?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did have one comment.
Okay.
I think, and I don't recall which report it's in, but there was discussion of the hedging on the natural gas. I think there was a number in there. I'm missing it right at the moment. But what I've noticed is, I guess, with our hedge program, we have been out of the money, so to speak, recently. And I'm just wondering, at what point do we rethink the hedge program? Because it just seems like right now, maybe in the past, it was helpful to us to stabilize costs, but recently and for some time now, it's been a drain. And I just want to know, what's the thinking on this?
Well, I think it's important to recognize what a hedge program is about. What you're trying to do with a hedge program is not, at the end of the day, it's not that you're anticipating you're going to automatically reduce your costs. The goal, because if we knew exactly how to hedge so we would always be buying below the market, probably none of us would be here. We'd probably be doing something else. The real overall goal of a hedging program is to maintain stability, and so you want to be within boundaries. The primary reason that we're out of the money is, frankly, and it's basically around natural gas. I mean, we hedge some coal, and we hedge other power purchases as well, but it's principally gas. The vast majority of our hedging is around gas. And what happened is, with the combination of the demand in the market, which some of our hedging programs were in before the collapse of our financial circumstances, and then the major change in increased supply that's associated with what's been achieved largely by fracking opportunities throughout North America. We entered into many of these hedges before those things came down. The hedges stay in place; they're laid out in there, and you can't, to unwind them, you would have to pay big money to unwind them. So the real benefit is as we've seen the overall costs come down, and as a result, our hedging programs, our costs, if it had gone the other way, we would have contained many of our costs. So,
I understand that.
That's the main reason that we've seen that. As we go forward, one of the things we're looking at, and we're addressing those issues right now, our risk management committee is addressing, we've allowed a lot of our hedging volume to come off, and we haven't refilled a lot of that hedging volume right now. We're going to have to make decisions when we want to do and at what levels we want to do that, because we are starting to see
Right.
So the increase is again in natural
You
gas.
precisely hit the point of interest on my part, which is, what is our policy on the hedging? Because I know, when you enter into a contract, you're in the contract. But when the contract's up, you have a choice to renew it or to let it go. I'd like to kind of know where we're at on the bigger picture. Not right at this moment.
Oh,
You can
okay.
present it later as a report.
We'd gladly do that. I think we're at that point right now where we have our committee is doing just that right now,
Okay.
evaluating that circumstance. How deep do we go into the market? How far out do we want to go into that market? We bring in outside advisors who are experts in this, Wood Mackenzie being one of those, that we have a regular contract with, who advises us on these issues. So if you would like at a later point in time for us to come back and present something to you on how we're going, we'd be glad to do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful.
I think that's very important.
Yeah, I'm glad to do that.
Anything else on the filed items?
Yes, I would like to ask Mr. Lieber a question. Under the fiscal year to date ECAF, we had a bump in the months of March and April and into May, where it looks like we are shy many millions of dollars. And could you explain why we are hit so hard in those months related to ECAF?
Yes, Commissioner Parfrey, I'd like to give you about 3/4 of an answer, and I'd like to report back with a fuller answer that breaks out the details of the ECAF, what we had budgeted and what actually hit the account. But as it turns out, most of the increase that is shown in the chart at the end of the financial report in March is erroneous. Given the most of the increase was erroneous. Given the transition to how we're treating energy efficiency costs, we're changing it from O&M to capital. Our accountants didn't reflect that properly in that month. They should have reflected just the debt service costs that impacts the revenue requirement rather than the full amount. So that's why it spiked up in March. You can see that since June, since then it's come down significantly in June as they've reflected the proper accounting treatment. It's still higher than the planned amount. Part of the explanation for why it's higher is there was an outage at IPP Unit 2. We did incur additional costs to replace that lost power that equated to about $10 million. So that explains part of the difference. But at the end of the day, it's still higher than the plan. And what I'm going to ask for and provide to you is a reconciliation that goes item by item. What did we plan to be in the ECAF? What are the final numbers? The last thing I would say is these are still preliminary as the accounting is being trued up for year end. There will be some adjustments. I'm told that we expect the ECAF amount to come in right at about the budget, at about $205 million. So it won't be substantially away from the plan.
Any questions?
I just look forward to the corrected information. Thank you.
I think that's it. Barbara, am I missing anything?
No, I think that's it.
Richard?
Yes, sir. The board shall go into closed session and publicly report any action taken in closed session and the vote or abstention of every member present thereon in accordance with Section 54-957.1 of the California Government Code.
Thank you. That's
on the back.
Yeah, it's on the back. Give us 15 minutes and we can be 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
We're going to meet back.
Conference room. Yeah.
Okay, I might have this.
Okay, we'll start.
Let me ask Rich what's on the